It's your girl, Ms. Mofilla, and we are back inside the maze for another dose of the critical breakdown. We have this beautiful spirit. I don't know if y'all feel the shift change in the atmosphere, okay? But we've got the incomparable, let me make sure I get it right, Dzidzor. Oh, in the building. I said it good.
Yay,
I said it good.
Yeah, you did.
Hi, sis.
Where's the applause?
So, dude. Yay, I'll do it for you. I got you. Yay. Hi, sister.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm well, and I'm here.
Yes, you are.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here. I've always seen you. The first time I saw you, I'm about to throw it all the way back. First time I saw you was at Oompa's first record release. And it was like a pre-release thing down at, what was the record store? They had us down in the basement and there was a bunch of records everywhere. I can't even remember.
Yeah,
Newberry Comics, was it? I think I believe. And she had like a listening party and you did a piece. And I still remember it to this day. I just remember, if you love yourself, clap your hands. Yes! Clap your hands. And I promise you, every time I saw her from that moment, I would approach her, if you love yourself, clap your hands. Okay? Oh, such a gift to the industry, such a gift to the art and the artistry of music. So, welcome.
Thank you.
And we're gonna go over, I can't even say one of my favorite songs because she does art, she does poetry, she does music, she does it all, you understand me? But one of my favorite pieces and the most recent big piece that you've released is your song, Freedom. And it's featuring who?
It's featuring Cyrus Gooddays and Kisei.
Yes, and we're gonna break it down. It's the critical breakdown, man. Let's get straight to it.
Freedom,
Freedom, freedom,
freedom,
sound real sweet.
freedom,
Want you deeply,
freedom,
but I'm too be.
freedom,
I'm too be.
freedom,
I'm too be.
freedom,
I'm too.
freedom,
I'm too.
freedom.
Once you told me you released this this single, and I listened to it, I was like, this just goes right along the lines of every experience I have when I see you. Life changing every single time. Freedom. Let's get straight to it. Oh, disclaimer, I am gonna quote your lyrics. I feel like I don't even know if I can quote her lyrics like I normally do because these are just so powerful that we're gonna get deep into this conversation, but I'm gonna try. Let's get to it. So it gets straight to freedom, freedom, freedom. Sound real sweet, freedom. I think we should do it kind of how the song goes.
Okay.
So if I can do your part and then you do the freedom part, because I'm gonna be, you see me?
Okay, yes,
You see me?
you got it.
All right. So the words are freedom, freedom.
Freedom,
Sound real sweet.
freedom,
Want you deeply,
freedom,
but I'm too beat.
freedom.
And we're gonna stop right there real quick and just talk about that.
Yeah.
She has very simple lyrics with very deep meaning. So I know there's so many directions this could have gone. Tell me where your brain was when you were writing.
So this was inspired by a conversation I was listening to between Carl Rogers, who's like this American psychologist, and Paul Tillich, which is one of my favorite theologians. And they were having a conversation just about what it means to be American. Excuse me. And one of the things that they were talking about was living and freedom. And Carl Rogers says to Paul Tillich, you know, one of the things I try to do whenever I invite my clients into a room is I try to create a space of freedom for them. And so then Paul Tillich, with his German accents, looks at him and says, well, you know, I don't know anyone who's free enough to give anyone freedom. And so, as you imagine, I paused the YouTube video and just started shouting in my room, like, who is free to give me freedom? And so I went to Ghana. So I had wrote the quote down when I'm about my way. And I went to Ghana for the summer and I got an Airbnb, and it was me and a couple of musicians in the space. And we were jamming. And I brought up the quote and I was just like, and I think I was listening to Nina Simone, Sea Lion Woman. So I just kept telling them to say freedom in the same melody as Nina Simone's Sea Lion Woman. And then as they were singing it, I was like, and then I started to then bring that quote up to my mind. And I started to wonder, like, who are all of these people that offer or present freedom in a way that they want people to accept? You know, the church has freedom.
Yes, let's
right?
get right into that, because that's where you got to with the lyrics, right? You said church is singing freedom.
Correct.
I need Jesus,
Yes.
freedom. Sell me heaven, freedom. Kingdom on sale, freedom. That hit me as a former church kid, you know, transferring now into more of a spiritual journey. I felt these lyrics 100%, but I need you to break it down. I can give my interpretation all day, but you break that down.
I would love to hear it too.
I felt it because I feel like it's 100% a sell. It's a sell point. If you give me money, I'll sell you the way to happiness. And it's like, that's not necessarily how that works. If God has given us freedom, it's just that, right?
Sure.
I shouldn't have to pay a price for that freedom, right? Because is it free if I pay the price?
I think you have a valid point. I think the world in itself, everybody has offered some form of freedom. You think about politics, right? Like their aim and their goal is, no, vote for me because I can offer you this sort of pleasure, this amount of freedom that you would like, right? Music, artists. Sometimes we sort of go into a space and we create. No, I mean I think we all do it, right? Like even our parents growing up, you know, they tell us to make better choices because you'll be free from something. So I think my attack isn't necessarily saying that I'm better than the church in any way. I think I'm just recognizing that like the church is one of the places that present an idea of freedom, whether it's heaven, right, or a biblical reference to heaven, or a denomination, right, like whatever they offer, how they offer Jesus in the ways that they think that would offer you that freedom. And so I decided I wanted to say that I wanted to show, rather, the contradiction of what it means to offer something freedom, to offer some form of freedom, and at the same time, there is a cost.
Let's talk about that really quickly. I just think about, when I heard those lyrics, I think about the televangelist thing, you know what I mean? The holy water for sale and things like that. But just hearing you break that down, it checks me to a certain extent, because we all do kind of say that. I'm gonna offer you a little ease in your life or something better, but you gotta give something in return. And that's not really freedom, is it?
It's not.
No.
It's not.
Let's continue on.
I mean, and truly, what is freedom then?
Because that's what we're gonna figure out by the time. I'm hoping.
I don't know if I have the capacity.
Do we? Listen, but she says, soaked in blood, freedom. Don't know which one.
Freedom.
Is mine or his?
Freedom.
Now, what were we talking about there?
Right. So, Jesus reference.
Okay.
And you know, Jesus had to sacrifice himself in order to, or at least Christians reference Jesus as the person who sacrificed himself so that we didn't have to suffer in the ways that he did, right? So that we could have access to God. And so what I was making a reference of was, as a Black woman, oftentimes sort of the road or the call to liberation usually comes at a cost, right? So when we are promised some form of freedom, there's a sacrifice that we have to make. I pull a lot of references from things that I watch. I was watching Lovecraft, and the last episode, when he was about to die, he sees his mother, and his mother says to him, "We all have to sacrifice something, baby." And I just remember being like, "Oh, why?
Why does it have to be that?
But why must we sacrifice? Why must we hurt? Why must we pain just to get access, freedom?" And so that was a sort of a revelation of things that I've been noticing. And it's not just the church.
I mean, it's an overwhelming theme in life in general.
Indeed it is.
Right.
And so I'm just sort of pointing to the confusion of, is this the blood of Jesus or is this my own blood?
Okay, am I sacrificing myself for
Correct.
freedom, quote unquote?
Correct.
Ooh, the deepness. I just got chills just saying that. My goodness. Now let's continue on with these lyrics, and I'm gonna do it the right way this time, okay?
I got you.
She continues on and says, leaders tell me,
Freedom.
give up my comfort.
Freedom.
Preachers tell me,
Freedom.
give up my pleasure.
Freedom.
Government tells me,
Freedom.
give up my,
Give up my.
oh,
Give up my.
Okay. Hey.
But freedom.
Yes. I just like how she was vibing like that. I loved it. But listen, you broke it down to where it doesn't even need to be broken down at this point because the picture is painted so clear. Everybody in a place of power is telling you have to sacrifice, like we've been saying, a piece of yourself in order to attain what you consider freedom. Tell me, have you ever experienced that in your journey? Because I feel like your journey is more than just a music career or, I'm just a poet or an artist. Honey, you're walking in purpose and working in purpose. So tell me, do you get faced with those moments where you're like, you're gonna have to sacrifice something if you want freedom in this industry?
Yeah, I think so. I think, what doesn't come as a sacrifice? I also, you mentioned purpose. And I always say that there is a cost in finding your own way. And so, when I think what's really beautiful about paved ways, like for example, my mother would say, I've shown you which way to go. It's easier this way. And it's really beautiful because it's already paved. You kind of already see the pathway, you know where to go, you know how to walk through it, right? And then the cost of saying, actually, I'm willing to go through this way. And I see what the end goal is. The cost is that you're gonna have to go through your own pain, and some of those things are not planned. And I think there's a lot of sacrifice in making that decision.
No, that's real.
Because there is no example in the ways that you would like for you, to sort of follow. And I think that the sacrifice is that you will be misunderstood.
Yes.
That you will have doubt, you will have fear. Sometimes you're unsure of anything that you're doing, and the shortness of it all. So I think that's a huge sacrifice.
Amen to that.
And then on top of that, it's really hard finding your own way and saying, I'm very sure in the direction that I'm going, even if you don't understand, even if you can't see me in the ways that I want to be seen.
Listen, I feel like the biggest sacrifice I've had to learn in this journey is I've sacrificed the need for acceptance at this day and age. It's just kind of like you said, once you know what your purpose is, in the movement, the way you're supposed to be moving, you can't let anybody else's doubt or anybody else's, fears get in the way, or even your own fear, because self-doubt is something serious. You understand me? Yeah. Now tell me, this has been a really good themed question, and I feel like I get a really good answer every time I ask it. So I'm gonna ask you too. If you could talk to the little young Dzidzor and have a conversation with her as a young Black girl still trying to figure out who she is, what would you tell her?
That's such a beautiful question. Do we have time?
We got all the time, honey.
I would tell her to laugh more. I would tell her that she is enough. That there is nothing that she has to do in order to gain value in herself, that her existence alone is powerful enough to just be enough. I would tell her that she is loved. I think she forgot that often. So letting her know that she is loved in every way, and that she is cared for, and that, be present. She thought a lot about tomorrow.
She's getting me right now. Okay, continue.
But to be present, letting her know that her only responsibility should be just to be and not have to worry about what tomorrow comes. And yeah, that's what I would tell her. And I would hug her so tight.
That speaks. I feel like that speaks to every little Black girl that is hearing this message now. Because I'm getting choked up as we speak. You understand me? Speaking about the importance of just being, I want to talk about my experience seeing you perform at the How to Boston While Black Summit that just passed last week. My goodness, sis. You set the tone. You said, I'm getting emotional. This is the first time. I'm getting emotional. You set the tone, you set the room, and it was much needed for us as Black and brown people. Like you said, we never get that space to just be and be okay with being. So you getting up on that stage and just saying, stop. Everybody stop, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and out. It meant so much, and you don't realize the impact that you have, sis. So, thank you. Thank you
for sharing that.
Now listen, I could be talking to you all day long and getting my life together. But let the people know where they can find you at.
It's Dzidzor I'm sure that this will be written out because it's not phonetically spelled. It's not spelled the way it is pronounced. I have a website called Dzidzor.com. My Instagram is Dzidzor. I'm on TikTok, but not really. But it's Dzidzor the Trickster on there. And I have public installation on June 3rd at Old North Church.
Congratulations.
So would love if the people would come out, if this is out at that time.
I'm gonna pull up.
Yeah.
No, they'll definitely be out before then. So make sure y'all show up and show this woman some love. I promise you, your life will be changed. You see the tears in my eyes, my God. Listen, and if you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, everything Ms. Mofilla. Also check out my website, MsMofilla.com. And while you're at it, make sure you follow Inside the Maze on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell down at the bottom so you can keep track of everything that we're doing over here at the Critical Breakdown. It's Ms. Mofilla. It's Dzidzor.
It's Dzidzor.
Oh, it's my life all together.
We are inside the maze. So y'all end it like that?
Say something. Give me an ending.
Give
me an ending.
We are inside the maze. Get lost.
Ooh, peace out.
Freedom,
Freedom, freedom,
freedom,
sound real sweet.
freedom,
Want you deeply,
freedom,
but I'm too big.
freedom,
I'm too big.
freedom,
I'm too big.
freedom,
I'm too big.
freedom,
I'm too.
freedom.